Coming up on this episode of the Village Idiom.
Apparently you can make amphetamines from cat saliva.
For real?
Yeah, just ask Meow.
You're such an idiot.
Dum dum da da, Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to the Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every week chooses a popular saying to take a shallow but hopefully comedic, once while even interesting dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins, but we're also going to use it to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on. My name is the Mad.A.Hatter.
I can be very careful. I'm Skinny. So good to see you again. It's actually been a few weeks.
Yeah, it has. We got the little few in the hopper so that we could take a break.
Yeah,
and, you got to take more of a break than I did.
I got out, camping. You got to come out and join.
I spent a day with you. That was
great.
great.
Nice. Yeah, it's always good.
Good spot out there.
It's fun. Was it a windy day that day?
It was overcast, but it was all right.
Yeah, you needed something to cover you, I think, on that day.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. It was a sweater, hoodie wearing day.
Yeah, for sure.
Got out there and we played disc golf that day, and you got to be crazy to play at that course.
It's funny because it's like one part fantastically sculpted out into the woods and one part Sanford and Son.
Oh, that way, yeah, like actual like debris and litter and whatever. But I just meant like the forest. Like you cannot throw in there.
If you goof it up, it's right into a tree, like everywhere.
Like everywhere.
Yeah. There's little margin for error, but whatever. It's frisbee golf. We're having fun.
Totally.
Yeah, we're not here to win.
No? Who won?
I did, for sure. That's only the winner gets to say. Play it down.
I did not win. I improved as the course went on. You've played a lot more than me, but I did improve as the course went on, I think.
If you're playing, because I was playing every day, so hopefully I got better than your annual playing.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully.
That's literally my second time playing ever.
So yeah, I did better than that, but yeah, it's still a good time.
It was really great. And what was great, maybe specifically about that course, you could probably tell me, is we had all ages playing. Like there was 13 of us, something like that, playing.
Yep,
all the way down to
12-year-old.
Yeah,
12-year-old through.
And that tree obstacle course that I just complained about, it kind of leveled the playing field a little bit. Nobody did like these amazing hole-in-one kind of.
It wasn't until you got out into the open space. So it's in an area kind of in this little hick town, and when there's seasons of the year where they run
salmon,
smash up derbies and log rolling competition, and have hope days, and so during
hope-filled days,
and during that time it's in a dirt amphitheater with concrete blocked arena for seating that is reminiscent of Thunderdome.
So is that meant to be Smash Up Derby, or what is that for?
It's a Smash Up Derby spot.
Okay.
And the next thing you know, we're playing holes through it. So there's actual debris in.
There was, but I didn't know if it was
car parts.
Car events are held there or car burnings happen there.
Whatever. Interesting. When we
sacrifice to the Autobot gods.
One thing that I thought was. There was a couple of groups. I think it was the same group of teenager multiple times.
Okay.
Gooned out.
What do you mean?
They were high as a kite. They were
there that day.
They were there with multiple bongs, and there was drug needles, and it was this is where the teenagers of this area, I guess,
it is secluded enough,
go to get worked up. Is really weird.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was kind of one of those. They were loopy, out of their minds. Some may say
out of their gourd.
Gourd.
Well, which leads us successfully into this little item right here.
Mad.As.A.Hatter.
Mad.As.A.Hatter. Today's idiom du jour: Mad.As.A.Hatter.
Yeah, that was so actual story. They were drugged up. That wasn't just a segue. That was just. Have you ever been loopy on I know you don't. We are not.
I'm laughing because you know me better than
we
that.
are not drug people, but have you ever been loopy on paint fumes or nothing like that?
Don't
think, me neither.
No, even accidental. I'm trying to think of it.
I did myself with paint for sure, 100%.
Really?
Yeah, just the room was enclosed and there was too much fume.
Like I've gotten headaches from that kind of thing, but not where people are going, maybe you should take
a dart in your neck. You're crazy.
No, I don't think I've ever been loopy. I was even thinking even when I had my wisdom teeth out, they didn't give me that special one that everyone becomes famous for 5 minutes on YouTube with.
I don't know. If it's not like paint fumes type thing, it's not. Yeah, we're not into that world at all to know much.
No.
I could throw words at.
Even if I morally could wrap my brain around legal or illegal drug taking, I think I'm afraid of it. I don't think I would anyway.
Apparently, you can make amphetamines from cat saliva.
For real?
Yeah, just ask Meow.
You're such an idiot. Where did you didn't plan that one for today?
It's hard to say what I plan.
Oh my goodness.
What I don't plan. Just ask me.
That's for Mad.As.A.Hatter.
I see.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Good.
Yeah, once because some people are just more wired that way.
Yeah, and maybe we should say, for those of you who aren't familiar with the term, Mad.As.A.Hatter is usually a lighthearted way of saying, yeah, you're insane.
Yeah, they're a little crazy.
Yeah.
Which has lots of, it can be taken as like a pejorative, like as a down on people, like, but it's just, they're acting wild.
Yeah.
It's not like, this isn't poking at mentally ill situations.
No, we're not going down that road.
It's not Mad.As.A.Hatter. It's just like it would normally be someone acting nuts.
Yeah. It's rare. I think it's rarely used, at least in this day and age, about someone who is actually suffering from mental illness.
No, you'd be.
It's more likely you're calling your friend.
Dude, you're
Mad.As.A.Hatter, man.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I use it in general conversation, but I for sure heard it enough times.
Mm-hmm. And you need to have some, because there's, once we get into origins, there's some cultural, like it's a phrase. Like, and you would need to know it.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. There's some pop culture so this is one of those ones, we're going to get into it in a couple minutes here, where I thought I knew where this came from. Like, I thought this was going to be a shorty, like, so comes from Star Wars.
Does it?
No.
Oh.
I'm saying that was a made up thing.
You're going to freak me out.
I'm saying
there.
I thought it was that brief of an explanation. I thought I already knew where it came from, end of story. But there's quite the history, and it's interesting.
I'm excited. Does it rope in different cultures?
No. Not really. No. Pretty straight and narrow.
I've heard that some of these things
it's riddled with adult white males.
Oh, okay.
So that is a culture.
Right. Okay. Fair enough. The because some of these things end up having some cultural phenomenon, whether they're from the Spanish or
voodoo, Haiti, old world ritual kind of things. Yeah.
Right. Because there was that dude. This is in the news recently. That where was he from? I think it was Mexico, and he was in something's society, and it was taking on antidepressants or something to deal with Hispanic attacks.
Okay.
And it was really a newsworthy item that you probably heard.
Wow. I wish. I'm so frustrated how few times I see these puns coming at me.
Oh my goodness. I'm blacking out a bit.
So, Mad.As.A.Hatter. Mad.As.A.Hatter. So I was about to give an example of, or ask you, do you have an example of encountering someone that you would say is Mad.As.A.Hatter? But some of those stories some of those stories I do have would lean towards legit mental illness, where after the fact, in the moment, I'm like, wary of them. After the fact, I'm like, oh wow, they're obviously dealing with something. I feel badly for them. But on a lighter way, a genuine appreciation for the term Mad.As.A.Hatter, two comedians come to mind. Robin Williams on stage.
Sure.
Like, he's just
that's perfect.
It's back and forth and nonstop. Go, 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 go.
And his was drugs, though. Like
his on stage stuff was.
Well, he had lots of stuff.
Even in interviews and
he was a mad person. Or maybe Chris Farley in that vein, but he was drugged up.
Well, the second
he had like a cocaine problem or something, I think.
Right, but that's
not really drugs.
give you comedic skills.
Sure.
In that sort of rapid fire.
Just turned him up to level 10.
Right. The other one who I've just watched a couple specials of is Eddie Izzard or Eddie Izzard. I'm not sure how you say it.
Yeah.
And actually, I never connected the dots before, but there's a Robin Williams-esque quality to his comedy too, where it's just it's not setups and punchlines. It's
his bizarre kind of shock related.
Eddie Izzard?
I think so. Yeah.
I find like the two specials I watched had sort of a British historical or world historical thread through the special, but just he would just break into a one-person skit or a different accent or like, hey, have you ever heard of this? And it's just like, what? And then back to this thread that carried the whole show. Anyway, I was like, he's reminded me of Robin Williams.
Yeah, I've enjoyed some of his comedy stuff on, what's that guy's name? Paul something, The Green Room?
I don't know.
Anyways.
Paul Rubin?
Nope.
Paul Anka?
Pauly Shore.
Pauly Shore.
Paul Abdul. No.
Paul, I can't think of his name. Crocodile Dundee guy. Hogan. Paul Hogan. All right.
Paul Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer. All right. Anyway.
This is how the mind works. It's a wonderful thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so anyways, we should consider finding out a little bit more where this comes from.
Said some words, where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
So I will confess that my suspected origin story was as simple as it comes from Alice in Wonderland.
Alice in Wonderland, that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, you might recognize
The Mad-Hatter
from Alice in Wonderland.
Yes.
And
It's the Mad-Hatter.
right. So Lewis Carroll's 1865 novel Alice's Adventures in Wonderland features this crazy hatter.
He's mad as a hatter.
He is eccentric, and he's referred in the story as Mad. And while he's never called the Mad Hatter in there, he's forever known as the Mad Hatter. And so that I thought that was going to be the extent of origins. Yeah, it comes from Alice in Wonderland. But
When I looked up Mad Hatter, so I put in Mad Hatter, and it auto-filled in Alice in Wonderland syndrome.
really?
Yeah. I'm like, Mad Hatter, Alice in Wonderland syndrome.
So I came across some syndromes, but regarding this, but not that one.
Alice in Wonderland syndrome, and this part was actual for reals, doesn't lead into some joke. It said it was a rare neurological disorder characterized by distortions of visual perception, the body image, and experience of time. People may see things smaller than they are, feel their body alter in size.
Wow, there you go with the
The
whole cartoon version
mushroom
of
scene,
yeah.
Alice in Wonderland syndrome.
So it does not originate with Carol, as wonderful as Alice in Wonderland is. Instead, it goes all the way back to the hat-making industry on a whole, and specifically mercury poisoning. So during the 18th, early 19th century, also industrial workers in some cases, not just hat-making, but mercury was used, and they were not aware at that time just how harmful it was. So for hat making, they used a toxic substance called mercury nitrate as part of the process of turning fur from small animals into felt. So to get from rabbit pelt to a felt hat, pelt to felt, used mercury nitrate, and there was no like safety.
Mark's Hatter Company.
Mark's Hatter?
Mark's Hatter Company. Yeah.
Is there a joke coming?
No, I'm just like, I think that's hilarious. From pelt to felt.
From pelt to felt. Pelt to felt.
From pelt to felt, Mark's Hattery.
I'm trying to think. There's gotta be
Hattatorium.
more.
Yeah.
Knelt. You gotta knelt. Anyway.
That's so interesting.
To melt the pelt into felt, used mercury nitrate. So there's no safety standards back there, and the prolonged exposure to mercury caused employees to develop all sorts of physical and mental
Yeah,
ailments.
mercury like eats your brain or something.
Yeah, it became, I think I have the date here, we'll get to it. It became illegal, banned from hat making in general.
Wow.
And tons of restrictions.
That would be hilarious, or not at
none.
the time. Yeah, if all like, man, why are hat makers so crazy?
Exactly. So there was like an industry where, that guy's crazy. And it also bled into fashion design because
Wow.
you use felt in other capacities, not just hat making. And so there was this you just thought, like, hat makers and fashion designers, they're so eccentric, they're so crazy. Yeah, because they're all being poisoned by mercury. So, but specifically the hat thing, that's where it came from. Like, it seemed like every substantial, worthy of speaking of hat maker was also not mentally well. And so it would develop a variety of physical, mental ailments, tremors.
You felt it? I'm still working on things here.
Yes.
There it is.
I want to own a hat company now. So it included things like tremors, which they actually called Hatter's Shakes. Hatter's Shakes.
Yeah.
Speech problems, emotional instability, and, of course, hallucinations. So, side note, I dipped into all sorts of sites because
That's wild.
There's a nugget here and a nugget there. So I'm interjecting the continual thread here with this little tidbit. I'm going to read it right off the page. As to the underlying cause of Mad.Hatter's syndrome, in the 17th century in France, expensive hats made of felt began being produced using mercury nitrate. The method in question seems to have been developed, this is the best, by the Huguenots, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, of France, who after Louis the 14th revoked the Edict of Nantes in 1685. I'm getting there. This is interesting. Trust me. Which had previously given them certain religious freedoms and rights, were forced to flee to Britain, where they soon shared their little trade secret with British hatters, with it spreading from there. The specific felt production method here was to use mercury nitrate in a solution used to strip fur from animal skin, usually rabbit or beaver, in a process known as carroting because of the orangish color of the mercury nitrate solution. The specific benefit to the mercury nitrate was to cause the stiffer outer hairs to soften and become limp, allowing the hatters to pack them together more easily. So this is the carroting thing, the procedure. After carroting, the resulted matted fur was shrunk in boiling water, then dried, then processed into felt to make the hats. So how did they come to discover using mercury nitrate? This is a story passed down that most experts in hat making, I guess, believe to be true, gives this account of how mercury came to be used in the process. In Turkey, camel hair was used to make felt material. And it was discovered that the felting process was speeded up if the fibers were moistened with camel urine. But then in France, workmen started using their own urine. And there was one guy in particular who made excellent felt and was so superior felt and faster. And it turned out that he was being treated with mercury compound for syphilis. So his urine
Gross.
had mercury, which is how they discovered that mercury was effective.
He was whizzing syphilis mercury urine?
Mercury-coated syphilis urine.
That is foul.
And made better felt.
And people bought these things.
And wore them on their heads.
Wow.
That's
outlandish.
Right? So the whole tremors and shakes, they called it Hatter's Shakes. In Connecticut, mercury-induced tremors were called Danbury Shakes because there was a city of Danbury, which was the leading center of hat making during the 19th century. It, at its peak, had up to 56 hat factories in that one city. So it was a
lot of camel urine.
It was a lot of Mad Hatters.
We're gonna need a lot of syphilis here.
I can't imagine what night out on the town with all the hat makers using mercury was like.
And everything smelling like syphilis whiz. This is disgusting. You need to wash your hat, bro.
It was boiled after. I'm sure it's fine.
I swear I sat on a hat.
How did you get? Okay, so let's get into the saying. The earliest mention of a Mad Hatter appears to refer to a Robert Crabbe, a 17th century eccentric living at Chesham, England. So he gave all his goods to the poor, lived on the dock, lived on the dock, leaves and grass. That's how he survived. And so there was a lot of theories that Lewis Carroll used that guy to make his character, but it turns out that Carroll seemed to have based his Mad Hatter not on Robert Crabbe, but on a certain Theophilus Carter, great name, who was not a hatter, but a furniture dealer, but was locally known as a Mad Hatter to those around him because he always wore a top hat. Everywhere he went, he wore a top hat, and he was super eccentric, produced wacky inventions, and was just like in and of him. He was his own Mad Hatter without ever having produced hats.
I would have loved to have seen commercials back then with like actual mad people selling furniture,
selling
like,
their wacky inventions.
I'm Theophilus whatever. My furniture will not be undersold, and like just nuts with his syphilis hat. Yeah, that would be crazy.
So tying the cartoon version of, well, actually the book version as well of the Mad Hatter, Theophilus Carter, who wore his top hat everywhere he went. He also once invented an alarm clock that at the appropriate time would tip the bed over, dumping the sleeping occupant onto the ground.
That sounds like a Charlie Chaplin kind of movie, yeah.
So Theophilus Carter was a little bit obsessed with alarms and clocks and time, and so is the Rabbit.
Awesome.
And the Mad Hatter and the I'm late, and he tied it all into Alice in Wonderland.
That is great. That's a good find.
Yeah.
That's a great tie-in for actual original idiom materials type. That's good.
Yeah, that's a good one. And so let's see what else we got here. 1829 in print. Mad.As.A.Hatter, Hand Me the Cigar. He's Canadian author in 1835, started using Mad.As.A.Hatter as in its idiom context. Let's see. Oh, okay, one more great little tidbit of a story. So researchers have suggested that Boston Corbett is a guy's name. Boston Corbett, who was a hat industry worker and also the guy who, in retaliation, killed John Wilkes Booth, who killed President Abraham Lincoln.
This is deep. This is
right?
7 degrees of Kevin Bacon right now.
Right.
Okay.
He also suffered from mercury poisoning and mental health. Corbett
from a hat.
From working. He was a hat maker.
Okay.
Corbett, who'd been employed as a hat maker since he was a young man, became a religious zealot and in 1858 castrated himself with a pair of scissors in a way to curb his own libido. Then he went on to serve in the Union Army in the Civil War, and after Lincoln was shot by Booth at Ford's Theater, Corbett and his regiment, they were the cavalry sent to track down the gunman who was on the lam. 1826, they surrounded Booth in a Virginian barn, and Corbett stepped out, disobeyed orders. They were supposed to capture him, and he just went in and shot and killed him himself. He was cleared of it all, but everyone was like, oh no, he's not all there. He's got problems.
He's a Mad Hatter.
Yeah. Ended up living on his own as a homesteader, landed himself in a mental asylum, then escaped and disappeared.
Crazy. Then he started making suits out of women, which is where
exactly
the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Mad.As.A.Hatter.
Is that Once Upon a Time?
That last one?
Yeah.
I think that was Pennyworth.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like the guy from Once Upon a Time.
Oh, no, it was American Horror.
Okay. Well, there you go. Anyway, yeah, that's some crazy...
yeah, so it was a fun one.
He said that's down the rabbit hole, so to speak,
right?
Of idiom finding origins. Wow, good for you. That's interesting.
There you go.
What an educational podcast this is.
I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, that's good. Hopefully our Village-Idiom children out there enjoyed that too. We're probably going to need to head into the home stretch.
We really, really do.
To start doing some Riddlinks.
Yep.
Wrap this baby up.
All right. Riddlink is a game we like to play. It takes a 2-part trivia-based question and requires a 2-part but overlapping answer. Overlapping by sound, syllable, words, you name it. So, for example, last week, we left you... our idiom last week was slow and steady wins the race. And we left you with this one. Tortoise and the Hare idiom is the most popular card in the deck.
Race of Spades. Tortoise and the Hare race, or slow and steady wins the race of spades.
There it is. Slow and steady wins the race of spades. Thank you to all of you who chimed in. There was a few answers, all correct, that came in between last week and this week. And I'm going to confess right now, because as I looked at my notes, I failed to make any for today. I don't know why.
Oh, for the riddles, you mean?
Yeah, so
well, I got two. I got
If
one.
you've got
two.
a couple, do one for me, one for the illegitimate children.
Sure. I'll give.
Or do you have more than two?
No, I got two. Yep. I'm deciding which
You
one
wanna
to
think
do
about it?
first. Well, no. I do you want the easy one or the harder one?
Give me the harder one.
Okay, I'll give you the harder one and send the easy one home for our illegitimate children. Here we go.
Okay.
I'm crazy as a cap maker, so I take this amphetamine that gives focus and reduces impulsivity. I'm crazy as a cap maker, so I take this amphetamine that gives focus and reduces impulsivity.
Adder. Oh man.
Illegitimate children who are
Mad.As.A.Hatter.
yes,
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Mad.As.A.Hatter.
I was like, I had Ritalin in my head.
Yeah, it's the double T double D Adderall.
Yeah.
Mad.As.A.Hatter. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
And
there you go.
that's how you play.
That's how that goes.
so
And
tell everybody how they can play
you
along.
can reach out to us. So drop your answer to this one, Illegitimate Children. We would love to hear from you on social media stuff. You can reach out via email at thevillageidiompodcast@gmail.com or dump us a DM on Instagram at the.village.idiom. Or on our YouTube, Facebook at 3 Minutes Gone. Here it is.
Okay.
I'll say it twice, so it'll be nice. He wrote The Chronicles of Narnia and Alice in Wonderland. He wrote The Chronicles of Narnia and Alice in Wonderland.
All right.
And that is 3 Minutes Gone.
You know, I'm going to try and make up one right now. That's why I
Okay.
started our little jingle over. So that's the one we're going to leave for everybody. Alice in Wonderland author meets a ringing Christmas tune.
Lewis Carroll of the Bells.
That's it. Simple and sweet.
Awesome.
That's all. Now I feel like I've participated.
Good. I was actually busy writing something down to see if I could get a quick Theophilus Carter one.
Oh,
I couldn't play.
Theophilus. I bet we could do it right now.
I'm gonna go.
If you could
I was gonna go Cartery.
Can you get Theosyphilus Carter?
That's not so good. If you've had that, you need some ointment. Well, we should send you off. Enjoy your workout. Continue. Go get sweaty. Head to work. Do the things that you're gonna do.
Is that what everybody's doing?
Thank you for chiming in and jumping in on the Village Idiom podcast. I'm Skinny,
I am Jurassic Bowler Hat Mark.
and these are the Village Idioms.
All the best people are crazy.
That's 3 minutes gone.